Hello. So today is Thursday, April 9. Thanks God, it's Thursday. Tomorrow is Friday, only one day rest. Tomorrow is our weekend here in Qatar. So now I'm going to talk again my COVID update. In Yahoo News, doctors rethinking coronavirus. Are we using ventilators the wrong way? They are thinking maybe the ventilators won't help. It makes only the patient get worse. I will show you the clip.
And I'm sure Dr. Zucker would want to comment on this too, who says he's seeing a very high percentage of patients, maybe 70%, die who are put on ventilators. He's thinking the approach is all wrong. We need to rethink the protocol, that these patients might not need the ventilators, they might need oxygen instead.
So I think, I can't comment on exactly what they're saying, but the fact is when someone shows up in the emergency room, there's a handful of things that are going to take place. One is the oxygen is an initial therapy that someone needs, but the fact is that if someone's respiratory status gets worse, they're going to need respiratory support. The real question may be, is there other interventions that one can do? And we are looking at what other possible therapies would be out there that could possibly be given earlier, and that's all experimental.
Is it possible the ventilators might be doing more harm than good?
So the issue with ventilators in general is that if someone goes on a ventilator, and the government's spoken about this before, about how long people stay on the ventilator, the longer you stay on the ventilator, you end up potentially causing damage to the lung. It's a pressure that's being pushed into your lungs, and you constantly putting pressure into those little air sacs in the lungs. It can damage them, and the high levels of oxygen also can damage your lungs. But the fact is, it's what's called the catch-22 in a lot of ways, which is where you need the ventilator, but if you're on it a long time, it can cause harm. That's why you try to get them off as fast as possible.
Is this why it appears Boris Johnson is being treated with oxygen rather than a ventilator?
Excuse me?
Or in Great Britain?
I can't comment on his case, but obviously, because I don't know the information. But when someone comes in, the initial thing to do is to give someone oxygen by mask. And if someone gets worse, then you end up intubating them. What's happened with these patients is that they get worse relatively quickly. And so there's a lot of interventions that have to happen relatively quickly as well.
Yeah, I'm not a medical doctor, obviously, but look, nobody wants to put people on the ventilator. I've discerned that much. And I think you're right, the percentage of people who go on the ventilator who never come off the ventilator is incredibly high. I've even heard like closer to 80%. I don't think the ventilator is doing that. I think that's why they're on the ventilator. They're doing the ventilator as basically a last resort. So when they put you on the ventilator, it's because everything else has failed, and that's why the mortality rate is so high on the ventilator. And that's what we're seeing here. That death rate is going up because it's the people who've been on a ventilator 7 days, 10 days, 15 days, and they're passing away. So when we had that big increase in hospitalizations about 10 days ago, 2 weeks ago, that big spike in hospitalizations, what we're seeing is the people who went into the hospital on that day, 10 days ago, 12 days ago, who didn't get better, who was put on a ventilator, is now passing away. And that's what's driving this death toll.
That's what they are saying now. Maybe there's no proof yet. It's only speculation. So the doctor said what we are doing now is not working, and I think making the same mistake over and over is a sign of stupidity. Dr. Paul Marek told Yahoo News, if it's not working, we've got to look for something else. And he is recommending promoting the treatment of his own devising, a combination of corticosteroids and high-dose ascorbic acid or vitamin C as a first-line be for patients hospitalized with COVID-19. So that is his suggestion. It's not yet tested. The protocol is controversial and untested, but the theory behind it illuminates growing shift in thinking about the disease that may have important implications for how it is treated. Let's go now to my Qatar update. So another cases, the ministry announced the recovery of 28 infected people, taking the total number now of recovered patients to 178. The total cases include the previously announced 6 deaths. The newly diagnosed cases were detected upon screening those who had been in contact with the previously announced cases, and others who are linked to travel and returning from coronavirus hit countries. New COVID-19 infected is 153 cases. Now we have total 2,210 here in Qatar positive in COVID-19. Also a researcher saying that synthetic antibodies might offer a quick coronavirus treatment. This guy is featured before in Netflix. I will show you also his video. It's kind of long video.
For the last 9 weeks, we have been working on creating an antibody therapeutic to neutralize and therefore cure the novel coronavirus. Antibodies are proteins that your own body produces, your immune system, to block viruses and protect you. We are engineering very specific antibodies that are really good at this, to be able to go block the virus. I went back almost 18 years to find antibodies that had been developed against the SARS virus. So the SARS virus is a cousin of the novel coronavirus. So what I did in my laboratory and my team members is they developed those starting 5 antibodies. We engineered hundreds of millions of versions of them by manipulating their DNA to then search for in all those hundreds of millions of versions, could we find ones that had been able to evolve to catch up to the novel coronavirus. And we are pleased to announce that we're able to do it for all the 5 antibodies we started with. We've got amazing cross-neutralizing antibodies that hit the novel coronavirus.
People who are watching television today heard from a researcher named Dr. Jacob Granville, who's come up with a potential antibody therapy. He's wanting to know if you know anything about this.
You know, John, I don't know specifically this individual, what they're doing, but I can tell you there's a lot of activity that is centered around a passive transfer of antibodies. And this is an old concept. In fact, immunology was born decades and decades and decades ago with the concept of giving passive transfer of serum to an individual to protect them from an infection. So I wouldn't be surprised if he and a number of other people are pursuing this. It's the right thing to do.
So this is a bridge to protecting some people who are ill, to protecting people on the front lines, to protecting law enforcement and firefighters, to protecting our military. This is a bridge to a vaccine. It's not a vaccine.
So a vaccine and an antibody therapeutic both use antibodies to protect you. Both of them, you get a shot. Otherwise, they're pretty different. A vaccine, what you're doing, when you get a shot, that syringe has little pieces of the virus in it. And so you get injected with it, and your arm gets a little swollen. What's going on is your immune system is starting to learn how to attack those pieces of the virus. And that takes time. It might be 6 or 7 weeks before you have protection. With an antibody therapeutic, that syringe or an IV bag contains the antibodies directly. So when they infuse into you, your body doesn't need to do anything. In my mind, this is better than a vaccine for medical professionals because they don't have 7 to 8 weeks because they're in a very dangerous position. For that group of people, an antibody probably makes more sense because they're immediately protected.
It's not a cure-all, but it would give us some wiggle room, and that is really important. It does have to be safety tested.
There's still work to be done, a lot of work. So we have these molecules. We still need to go through a series of tests on them for safety. We need to do a test on a neutralization on a local. We're trying to send it to government, and I'd like them to test it remotely from us, because I want them to look at it independently of me and be like, oh yeah, these are amazing.
But the ultimate game changer in this will be a vaccine, the same way a vaccine for other diseases that were scourges in the past that now we don't even worry about. I mean, the vaccine is, as I said, it's on target for the year to a year and a half.
Part of our mission is to make affordable medicine and make sure the whole world can gain access to it, considering the urgency of the outbreak, and our intention to release the drug under what's called compassionate use, which is that as soon as we have evidence that it's safe and it's effective, we can start releasing it globally.
We should be reasonably optimistic, and we should be very happy that I think the right buttons are being pushed with respect to this potential therapy.
So they need human trials to measure efficacy and determine the best dose. So we should be reasonably optimistic, and we should be very happy that I think the right buttons are being pushed with respect to this potential therapy. I hope this is real. This is the right one. So we'll be hoping that it will be treated soon. Let's go to my worldometer update. I think maybe it's just too long now. This is my worldometer update today, April 9, 2020. Coronavirus cases now 1,529,401. Deaths 89,416. Recovered 337,164. Active cases is 1,102,821. Then 48,201 is serious or in critical condition, which is 4%. And then mild condition is 1,054,620. Now let's go to per country. Total cases on top is USA 435,160, followed by Spain 152,446, Italy 139,422, Germany 113,296, France 112,950, China 81,865, Iran, UK, Turkey, Belgium, Switzerland, Netherlands, Canada, Brazil. So let's go to new cases. Still Spain 4,226 new cases. Belgium 1,580, Russia 1,459, followed by Romania, Mexico, Israel, Indonesia. Total deaths, still Italy 17,669, Spain 15,239, USA 14,797, France 10,869, UK, Iran, China, Belgium. New deaths, Spain 446, Belgium 283, Indonesia 40, Mexico 33, Austria 22, Philippines 21, Switzerland 18, Russia 13. So still going up. So that's my worldometer update. Now I have here before I will end my video, I will show you how to put this N95 mask and how to remove. So this is how you position the mask. Put it on your palm. The nose edge should be on the finger, and the head strap should be hanging down. First, position it in your chin, and then pull first the upper strap, put it the back of your upper head. Next, the lower one, the back of your neck, Then untangle the strap. Next, use these 2 fingers to mold on top of your nose. So how to check this? Put your 2 hands, exhale sharply. If you feel some leaking air here, so adjust to make it clear that there's no leaking and it placed properly. So that's it. And then how to remove this? First, wash your hands again, disinfect, and then don't ever touch this part anymore. So first, you remove this lower strap and hold it like this, followed by the upper strap. So that's it. Don't touch the outer part of the mask. So that's all. So as always, I'm telling you, please stay at home, take a rest, take enough sleep, exercise, eat healthy foods. It helps for your immune system, to boost your immune system, and avoid smoking, drinking. So if you will go out, wear mask, wear gloves for your protection, and be safe, and God bless.